Hey, it's Bill Russell. I'm here in my yellow hat. I wore it at Vive and Hims to signify our partnership with Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation and the search for cures and to combat childhood cancer. I'm just blown away by the generosity of our community. With the help of our partners, SureTest, Rackspace, CTG, and some of you giving individually, we were able to raise close to $40,000 at those two events. It is just exceptional. And I would like to thank all of you who have joined us in this cause. If you would like to be a part of it as well, go ahead and hit our page, thisweekhealth.com. You can go to the top blue banner that is on our homepage and click on that to give today. Thank you again for being a part of this effort and this cause. Today in Health IT, we're going to talk ambient scribing or ambient clinical listening, whatever you want to call it. My name is Bill Russell. I'm a former CIO for a 16-hospital system and creator of This Week Health, set of channels and events dedicated to transform healthcare, one connection at a time. We want to thank our show sponsors who are investing in developing the next generation of health leaders, notable ServiceNow, Enterprise Health, Parlance, Certify Health, and Panda Health. Check them out at thisweekhealth.com/today. You may have noticed yesterday we did not publish a Newsday show, which is not normal for us. So there's a little miscommunication amongst the team. That will be back again next week. But you may have also noticed that we started dropping the 2-minute drill. And if you didn't catch yesterday's 2-minute drill with Drex DeFord, it is a classic. It's already a classic. It's 1 day old. It is an April Fool's classic Drex. It is fantastic. You're going to be seeing that on this channel 3 times a week. That's what Drex is doing on that show, basically taking complex cybersecurity stories and terms and putting them into layman's terms so you can share it with your friends and others. So be looking out for that. All right, one last thing. Share this podcast with a friend or colleague, especially with new content coming from Drex. And obviously, we have one more surprise for you at the end of this month, and we will be sharing that in due time. But as we continue to add to this content, you can use this as a foundation for daily or weekly discussions on the topics that are relevant to you in the industry. Use it for mentoring. They can subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. All right, let's talk ambient clinical listening. Most CIOs I'm talking to today have some sort of pilot going or have implemented this in some way. It has evolved over the years. A lot of us started with Dragon and then went to other things as they sort of came available. But with the advent of the large language models and other things, we have seen a plethora of new players. In fact, I'm going to talk some players and rough pricing of some of these players. But at the end of the day, there's new ones popping up every day. I was talking to a CIO yesterday. They developed their own. Go figure. And that's a possibility for some if you have the wherewithal to do that. But, the main players are the main players. It's Nuance, Abridge, Ambience. There's Nabla, Suki, and others. My source for this is a great article written by Matthew Holt on the healthcare blog, The Latest AI Craze, Ambient Scribing. I love his perspective. He goes a little bit through the history and some of the challenges. And it used to be when we were doing this, we thought we were going to a computer and it was spitting it back. But really what we were using was a form of scribes in another location that were translating the notes and bringing them back. There's also the idea of integration. There's some of these, Nuance obviously has some tight integration with the EHR providers. Abridge has tight integration with Epic. But some of the others are still copy and paste. So there's a little bit of that going on. This isn't going to just end in the clinic. This is going to, according to him, and I agree, it's going to be pervasive. It's going to be all across the clinical workflows. The other thing I think he mentions in the story, and then I'm going to go into the individual solutions a little bit. The other thing he mentions in the story is we're already seeing this become pervasive in other technologies that are out there. And meaning that speech to text, right? It's on your phone. It's being integrated. It's integrated into the application I'm using right now to record this podcast. And by the way, the accuracy, when I started doing this, the accuracy was okay, and then it got good, and now it's really good, and it's moving really rapidly towards extremely good. And that's the level at which we need in healthcare. But I say all that to say it's we're looking at individual solutions today. There might come a time where this is just baked into the EHR. You don't have to go to a Bridge or Ambience or Nabla or Nuance or others, that it could get baked in. You could see Epic go directly to Microsoft and just drop it in. So just keep that in the back of your mind as you're analyzing these solutions. And I don't think the cost of swapping this out, when we think about these solutions like the EHR, the cost of swapping it out is just dramatic. Like you can't even get your arms around it. But the cost of switching these things out, all of a sudden it's the same phone that's sitting in front of the doctor. It's the same doctor who's transcribing it. They don't know what the technology is, and it's still showing up in the note, or it's still showing up in the prescription, or wherever it happens to be putting the information. The doctor's not going to care. And that's really what technology is meant to do. It's meant to start to move itself to the background. It's meant to be transparent so that the user is just interacting and getting their job done. And so that's where it's going to go. All right, let's talk about some of these solutions. And there's more than the ones I'm going to talk about. There's a really interesting chart. I found this one on Axios. And they will tell you that the pricing was not sourced from the actual company, but the pricing was sourced in other ways. So take the pricing with a grain of salt, or validate it yourself, however you do that validation. It also has an accuracy number in here, a latency number, specialty supported, and integrations, at least 3+ integrations, right? And so it looks at a Bridge, Ambience, Nabla, Nuance, and Suki. And Nuance, we'll start with Nuance. Nuance has a price, according to this, of around $600, per physician per month, I believe. $600 per physician per month. So that's $7,200 a year. The accuracy, they have no accuracy rate, but it's a very high accuracy rate. Latency about 10 seconds. Specialty supported about 30, and 3+ EHR integrations. Obviously, Nuance is well integrated into the EHR community. That ends up being, of these 5 players, ends up being the highest cost. Now, I'm sure through negotiations and other things and through scale, you can get that number down. But the question is, where is it going to? And I think this is going to be one of those things that gets commoditized probably over the next 3 to 5 years. And so I would not write a contract where that number can't come down, because it will likely come down. So that's one thing. So that's I'm going to go in price order here. Ambience is next at $250, but think about that: $600 to $250. You're talking $7,200 a year to let's see. So that's 24, and half of that is 12. So it's $3,600. So you're talking $7,200 versus $3,600. Or, roughly, or a little less than that, actually. So you're talking less than half of what it is, Ambience versus Nuance. There could be a reason to do one versus the other. So this is not a comprehensive look at this. I'm just giving you an idea. Latency, 5 seconds versus 10 seconds. Specialty supported 115. And 3+ EHR integrations, they say yes. Now, I don't know what that looks like. You're going to have to do that research yourself. This gives you, here's the starting point I'm trying to give you. Here's the playing field. Here's some players. If you're going to do a bake-off, here are some companies you may want to contact and have a conversation with. And then you can explore the specialties in the EHR integration based on the EHRs that you're using. Next in this list of pricing, and I apologize, I actually went Ambience next at $250. Actually, Suki's at $399 per month per physician. Accuracy 92%. You have latency of 50 seconds. Specialty supported 30. 3+ EHR integrations, yes, on that. So you have $400 for Suki, $600 for Nuance, $250 for Ambience. We then go down even further to a bridge is $200 per physician per month, accuracy rate of 92%. Then you go down, latency is not listed, specialty supported 55, 3+ EHR integrations. They all have 3+ EHR integrations. So a bridge is next at $200. So that's $2,400 versus Nuance at $7,200. And again, check the pricing because this is third party gathered and validated. And then you go even lower to Nabla at $120 per physician per month. Accuracy rate of 95%, 20 seconds, latency, 58 specialties supported. And so, I think if you're going to be evaluating this stuff, it's going to be the integrations. It doesn't integrate well with your EHRs. What's the user experience? The integration, sometimes if you don't have the integration, you're going to have to do copy and paste. And I don't think that's going to be the best solution for a lot of doctors. It's not going to get the adoption rate that you're looking for. The adoption rate, by the way, on this stuff is really going through the roof. Just anecdotally through conversations and through some studies that you can see. You could actually hit Matthew Holt's blog, and he has a link to some studies that show the adoption rates going way up. And that's a huge positive. This is one of those things that is a huge satisfier with physicians when implemented correctly with the right solution, and is an opportunity for a win-win all around. It's a win for the clinician. It's a win for the patient. It's a win for coding and for billing. It's a win for workflow. It's you name it. It's just a win. Definitely a solution that you should be looking at. It's also a high efficiency play as well. So it's definitely something to be looking at. Yes, it's an additional cost in a lot of cases, but it's getting to the point where the cost is such that you can give it to every doctor. I know that's one of the things that we were limited prior to this. We did not give it to every doctor because of the cost. It was just too prohibitive. And now we're getting to a point where, again, I think the lower end of this is going to be where you're going to see these players start to get to. But I think, again, 3 to 5 years from now, I think this is going to be baked into the technology. I'm seeing it baked into a lot of other things. It's baked into the phone. It's baked into, it could be a situation where you don't want to sign a 10-year contract because this space is changing pretty rapidly. And I'm not even sure. This is one of those cases where a shorter term contract might make sense. 1, 2, 3 year contract might make sense because, again, the switching cost is not that high, and there's an opportunity to look at the advancements as they move forward. So anyway, that's all for today. A lot for today. Pretty exciting. Hey, if you didn't check it out, check out Drex's show from yesterday. Fantastic. I really enjoyed it. Again, 2-minute drill. So 2 minutes. Unlike myself, I will try to go a little shorter in the future, but we'll see what happens. Hey, don't forget, share this podcast with a friend or colleague. Use it as a foundation to keep the conversation going and to mentor someone. We want to thank our channel sponsors who are investing in our mission to develop the next generation of health leaders. Notable: ServiceNow, Enterprise Health, Parlance, Certify Health, and Panda Health. Check them out at thisweekhealth.com/today. Thanks for listening. That's all for now.